welcome to this session of our course. So, we were in the last class we were looking into the solution of partial differential equation two-dimensional problem in cylindrical polar coordinate system. It was a transient one-dimensional problem, one dimension in time, another dimension in radial direction, where we had a theta symmetry. So, we looked into the in the formulation of the governing equation as well as the boundary condition. Then we are formulating the eigenvalue problem in the radial direction, and we have found out the eigenvalue problem in the radial direction. The corresponding constant can be 0 or it can be positive. If it is if the constant is 0 or positive, then we will be landing up into a trivial solution. Now, in this class we will be completing this problem, and then we will be moving forward to solve the three-dimensional problem in cylindrical polar coordinate system, which is quite common in various engineering applications. So, we will be looking into the case number 3, where this constant is a negative constant. So, this will be equal to minus lambda square. So, the governing equation of r varying part is nothing but d square r dr square plus dr dr plus lambda square r r is equal to 0. Now, we substitute y is equal to lambda r, then after then we can express the independent variable dr with respect to y. So, what is dr dy? Dr dy is nothing but dr dy dr dr will be nothing but dr dy dy dr. So, it will become dy dy dr is nothing but lambda. So, lambda dr dy. So, we will be having dr dy as dr dr as lambda dr dy. Similarly, one can have d square r dr square is one more differentiation with respect to dr dr. So, it becomes d dy of dr dr dy dr, and dr dr is already expressed in terms of y. So, d dy of lambda dr dy dy dr is lambda. So, it becomes lambda square d square r dy square. So, we get r. So, after substituting all this, we will be getting y square d square r dy square plus y dr dy plus y square r is equal to 0. So, this is nothing but 0th order Bessel equation of first kind. The solution, we have already looked into this problem earlier, and the solution of this equation is nothing but composing of 0th order Bessel function of j0 and y0. So, if you really look into the solution, r of y becomes c1 j0 y plus c2 y0 y. So, put it back to lambda r. So, r of r is nothing but c1 j0 lambda r plus c2 y0 lambda r, and at r is equal to 0, your r is finite, capital R is finite. So, if you look into the variation of j0, it becomes a positive value, and then it will be oscillating about the x axis with r axis with diminishing magnitude. On the other hand, if you look into the y0 will be basically with infinity at r equal to 0, and then it will be oscillating about the r axis with diminishing magnitude. So, therefore, in order to have a finite value of the solution, the associated constant must be vanished, otherwise at that particular boundary the solution becomes unbounded. In order to avoid that, the associated constant, because as y0 is infinite, making the solution to be infinite, the corresponding constant will be equal to 0. So, therefore, R of R is equal to C1 J0 lambda R. Now, we use the so this is the solution or the eigenfunction of the particular problem, and we put the other boundary condition, that is at R is equal to 1, R is equal to 0. So, that means 0 is equal to C1 J0 lambda. Now, in order to have a non-trivial solution to this particular problem, we must be having C1 not equal to 0. So, in order to have C1 not equal to 0 for a non-trivial solution, only option is J0 lambda is equal to 0, and if you plot J0 lambda, then it will be as we have seen earlier, that it will be crossing the, it will be oscillating about the lambda axis, and it will be intersecting the axis at infinite number of points, and all these intersection points are the roots of this transcendental equation. One can take recourse to the any numerical subroutine, for example Fortran or C++. We have there will be a standard subroutines are available, and one can solve the first 5 roots or first 7 roots of this transcendental equation, and one will be getting the solution and eigenvalues. So, there are infinite number of eigenvalues to this particular problem, and we will be denoting them as lambda n. Lambda n corresponds to nth eigenvalue, and we will be writing J0 lambda n is equal to 0, where the index n runs from 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. So, so lambda n are the eigenvalues which are roots of this transcendental equation. And the corresponding eigenfunctions are Bessel function of 0th order Bessel function, J0 lambda n R are the eigenfunctions. Then next what we will do, we will look into the time varying part, and we will try to construct the complete solution. If you look into the time varying part, this becomes dt 1 by Tn dTn dt is equal to minus lambda n square, and Tn will be is equal to C2 exponential minus lambda n square t. So, therefore, u as a function of RT, we can construct the complete solution by superposing all the individual solution corresponding to every eigenvalue and eigenfunction. So, this will be C1 into C2, it will be multiplied with Cn, n is equal to 1 to infinity exponential minus lambda n square t J0 lambda n R. Okay. Now, the undetermined coefficient Cn will be evaluated from the unutilized initial condition that at t is equal to 0, u is equal to u naught. If you write that t is equal to 0, u is equal to u naught, you will be getting u naught is equal to summation of Cn J0 lambda n R. And we have already proved that the Bessel functions are orthogonal to 0th order Bessel function, or any order of Bessel function will be orthogonal to each other with respect to weight function R. That is already proved using the orthogonal property of the Bessel functions. We will be utilizing, we will be evaluating the constant Cn. So, Bessel functions are orthogonal functions with respect to weight function R. So, if you do that, I multiply both side by J0 lambda m R R dr n is equal to 1 to infinity, that is the right hand side, Cn J0 lambda n r J0 lambda m r r dr. Now, if you open up the summation series, all the terms will vanish, only the one term, that will be when m is equal to n, that will survive. So, Cn J0 square lambda n r r dr. Now, we change the running variable m into n, which will be corresponding to our solution. So, we can get the expression of Cn as u01 0 to 1 J0 lambda n r r dr and 0 to 1 J0 square lambda n r r dr. So, once we get that, we get the complete solution of u as r as a function of r and t as summation of n is equal to 1 to infinity Cn exponential minus lambda n square t J0 lambda n r, where C1 is obtained from this expression, and by evaluating these integrals either by using Simpson's rule or by trapezoidal rule, and then lambda 0 are the roots, lambda n are roots of the transcendental equation J0 lambda n is equal to 0. So, that gives the complete solution of two-dimensional, that is one-dimensional transient heat conduction problem in a spherical, in a cylindrical polar coordinate system. Next, we will move ahead, we will go forward, and we will be solving a three-dimensional problem in cylindrical coordinate system. So, let us look into a it's equivalent to a transient heat conduction problem in two-dimensional cylindrical coordinate system. Okay. So, let us look into the governing equation. The governing equation will be del u del t is equal to 1 over r del del r r del u del r plus 1 over r square del square u del theta square. Now, we will be having one condition on t, that will be the initial conditions, two conditions on r, because it is order 2 with respect to r, and one is already known at r is equal to 1, theta your u is equal to 0. That means, we are maintaining a constant temperature at the outer boundary, and at r is equal to 0, u is finite, or del u del r equal to 0. That is basically coming from the physics of the system, and it is a physical boundary condition, but we need to have two boundary conditions on theta, because this is order 2 with respect to theta. So, let us write down the initial condition at t is equal to 0, u is equal to u naught. It may be a constant, it may be a function of r, it may be a function of theta only, it may be a function of r and theta both. So, at r is equal to 1, we have u is equal to 0, at r is equal to 0, u is finite. So, this is an example of a physical boundary condition. Now, let us define the boundary conditions on theta, and these are known as the periodic boundary conditions. They are known as the periodic boundary condition. Again, they will be coming from the physics of the problem. At theta is equal to pi, u at pi is equal to u at minus pi, and at theta is equal to pi, del u del theta evaluated at pi should be is equal to del u del theta evaluated at minus pi, and both of these conditions on theta are known as the physical boundary condition, because they are formulated from the physics of the problem. Then we will be going ahead with the separation of variable type of solution to attempt to solve this equation. So, next what we will do is that we will be looking into the solution of the transient two-dimensional heat conduction problem in the cylindrical coordinate system. The solution goes like this. We will be assuming that u is a function, it is a product of three function. One is function of r alone, another is theta hat, that will be the function of theta alone, and another will be t, capital T, that will be function of time alone. Now, if we substitute this into the governing equation, then what we will be getting is theta hat r dt should be is equal to theta hat t 1 over r d dr of r dr plus 1 over r square d square theta hat d theta square r t. So, therefore, if we divide both sides by theta hat r t, we can separate out the variables and let us see what we get. We will be getting 1 over t dt dt and then 1 over r d dr of r dr plus 1 over r square theta hat d square theta hat d theta square. Next, we will be multiplying r square on both sides and try to prepare formulate a standard eigenvalue problem in the theta direction. Let us see what we get. We will be bringing r varying part on the left hand side and see what we get. So, what we will be getting is multiplied by r square 1 over t dt dt minus 1 over r d dr r dr is equal to 1 over theta hat d square theta hat d theta square. The left hand side is entirely a function of r and t, the right hand side is entirely a function of theta. They are equal, they will be equal to some constant. So, this will be function of r and t, this will be some function of theta alone, they will be equal to some constant, and this constant can be a positive constant, can be 0, can be positive, can be negative. Let us investigate this separately and let us try to formulate the eigenvalue problem in the theta direction. If you do that, then the case number 1 will be mu is equal to 0 when this constant is equal to 0. So, the governing equation becomes d square theta hat d theta square is equal to 0. So, this will be having a solution which is nothing but a linear equation c1 theta plus c2. So, at theta equal to 0, we have theta hat evaluated at pi is equal to theta hat evaluated at minus pi. So, theta hat at pi is nothing but c1 pi plus c2, and this will be minus c1 pi plus c2. So, c2 will be cancelling out. So, what we will be having is 2 c1 pi is equal to 0, then 2 is not equal to 0, pi is also a constant not equal to 0, therefore, the only option is c1 is equal to 0. So, the solution becomes solution. So, c1 is equal to 0, the solution becomes theta hat is equal to constant, theta equal to constant. Let us try to see the other boundary condition and see how what is the solution implies in terms of other boundary condition. The other boundary condition is at that del u d theta hat d theta at pi is equal to d theta hat d theta at minus pi. Since theta hat is a constant and it is a solution to this particular problem, therefore, its derivative with respect to theta is 0. So, that will be always satisfied by this boundary condition. So, therefore, theta hat is a constant is a solution. It is not a trivial solution, is a solution. That means, the constant mu is equal to 0 will not give rise to a trivial solution, it will be giving a solution, and the eigenfunction is nothing but a constant. So, mu is equal to 0 is an eigenvalue to this problem, and the corresponding eigenfunction is a constant, is a solution or eigenfunction with eigenvalue is 0. Now, next we look into case number 2. In case number 2, we consider mu is positive, that is equal to alpha square. So 1 over theta hat d square theta hat d theta square is equal to alpha square. So d square theta hat d theta square minus alpha square theta hat will be equal to 0. So we get the solution theta hat as a function of theta is nothing but C1 exponential alpha theta plus C2 exponential minus alpha theta. Then we evaluate the constant C1 and C2 from the two boundary condition, periodic boundary condition, that is theta hat at pi is equal to theta hat at minus pi. So C1 exponential alpha pi plus C2 exponential minus alpha pi is equal to C1 exponential minus alpha pi plus C2 exponential minus plus alpha pi, and we can have C1 minus C2 exponential alpha pi and C1 minus C2 exponential minus alpha pi. So if we take C1 minus C2 to the other side, we will be having C1 minus C2 exponential alpha pi minus exponential minus alpha pi. Now that should be equal to 0, and exponential alpha pi will be assuming a positive value. This will be a positive value, and this cannot be equal to 0. So this can never be equal to 0. So therefore the only option here is C1 is equal to C2. So therefore in this case number 2, we have the solution as theta hat is equal to C1 exponential alpha theta plus exponential minus alpha theta. And now if we try to satisfy the other boundary condition, so we will be getting d theta hat. Before that we have to evaluate d theta hat d theta is equal to C1 alpha e to the power alpha theta minus e to the power minus alpha theta. So d theta, the other, what is the other boundary condition? The other boundary condition is d theta hat d theta at pi is equal to nothing but d theta hat d theta evaluated at minus pi. So if you do that, you will be getting C1 alpha e to the power alpha pi minus e to the power minus alpha pi is equal to C1 alpha e to the power minus alpha pi minus e to the power minus plus alpha pi, and therefore we can have 2 C1 alpha into e to the power alpha pi minus e to the power minus alpha pi. Again this cannot be equal to 0 and alpha cannot be equal to 0. So therefore C1 has to be equal to 0, and since C1 is equal to C2, C2 has to be equal to 0. So what is the solution? The solution is theta hat is equal to 0, and it is a trivial solution. So therefore mu is positive is equal to alpha square, that is ruled out and not possible, because that will be leading to a trivial solution, and we are really looking for non-trivial solution. So this constant has to be a negative constant. So let us consider the case number 3. So if you look into the case number 3, mu is equal to minus alpha square. So now we formulate the standard eigenvalue problem with negative constant. So if you take it, bring it to the other side, d square theta hat d theta square plus alpha square theta hat will be is equal to 0. So we know the solution. The solution will be constituted by the sine function, combination of sine function and cosine function. So if you really do that, so you will be getting the solution theta hat as a function of theta is equal to C3 cosine alpha theta plus C4 sine alpha theta. Now we put theta hat at pi is equal to theta hat at minus pi. So if you do that, you will be getting C3 cosine alpha pi plus C4 sin alpha pi is equal to C3 cosine minus alpha pi plus C4 minus sin minus alpha pi. So we know cos of minus x is equal to cos, sin of minus x is minus sin x. So this will be C3 cosine alpha pi plus C4 sin alpha pi is equal to C3 cosine alpha pi minus C4 sin alpha pi. So C3 cosine alpha pi will be cancelling from both sides. So what is left is 2C4 sin alpha pi is equal to 0. Now in order to have a non-trivial solution, C4 must not be equal to 0. So C4 must not be equal to 0. So what is left is sin alpha pi is equal to 0. And what is the general solution of alpha pi? Alpha pi will be nothing but n pi, or alpha will be is equal to n. Now let us try to use the other boundary condition. If you use the other boundary condition, that is the d theta hat, d theta at pi is equal to d theta hat, d theta at minus pi. So let us first evaluate theta hat. Theta hat will be C4 alpha, okay, C3. So this will be C3 alpha minus of that sin alpha theta plus C4 alpha cosine alpha theta, and theta hat at pi will be minus C3 alpha sin alpha pi plus C4 alpha cosine alpha pi, and these will be evaluated at minus pi. So minus C3 alpha, minus pi means minus minus plus sin alpha pi plus C4 alpha, cosine of minus means it will be cosine alpha pi, and this C4 alpha cosine alpha pi will be cancelling out, and again we will be getting 2 C3 alpha sin alpha pi is equal to 0. So in order to have a non-trivial solution, we should have that C3 is not equal to 0. So therefore alpha should also be not equal to 0, because alpha equal to 0 we have already considered. So therefore this becomes sin alpha pi is equal to 0. In both the cases, we have considered that whenever using both the boundary conditions, we will be landing up with the condition that sin alpha pi is equal to 0, and we have the general solution alpha pi is equal to n pi. So where the index n runs from 1 to infinity, so therefore pi will be cancelled. So alpha n is equal to will be equal to n. So the eigenvalues of this particular problem is alpha n is equal to n, where n is equal to 1, 2, 3 up to infinity, and the corresponding eigenfunctions are theta hat theta C3n cosine n theta plus C4n sin n theta, because alpha has now become n. Now if you remember, n is equal to the constant mu is equal to 0 was also an eigenvalue to this particular problem, and the eigenfunction is constant. So therefore we can in general write the eigenfunction in this form, but if n starts from, so actually in this particular form n starts from 1 to infinity. If n starts from 0, will be, so let us see what is the value of this eigenfunction at n equal to 0. Sin 0 is 0, cos 0 is 1, and it will be giving C3n, that is a constant. So in general, if I start my running index n from 0, 1, 2 up to infinity instead of 1, 2, 3 up to infinity, then I will be including the eigenfunction, the eigenvalue n equal to 0 and eigenfunction equal to constant in this particular formalism inside it. So therefore, in general we can write down the eigen solution of in theta direction as eigenvalues are n, where n runs from 0, 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. So n equal to 0 is an eigenvalue, 1 is an eigenvalue, 2 is an eigenvalue, 3 is an eigenvalue up to infinite terms. What are the corresponding eigenfunctions? The general form of the eigenfunctions are theta hat, which will be a function of theta, is nothing but C3n cosine n theta plus C4n sine n theta, where n runs from 0, 1, 2 up to infinity instead of 1, 2, 3 up to infinity. Now let us write down the governing equation in the r direction part, that is only left behind. It will be nothing but r square 1 over t dt dt minus 1 over r d dr of r dr dr is equal to minus lambda square. So the alpha square, so that will be n, so it will be n square. So we can separate out the variables. Dt dt is equal to 1 over r divided by dr, r dr dr minus n square r square, and again that will be a negative constant. This is a function of time, this is a function of space. This will be equal to some constant, the negative constant. In order to if we have a positive constant or 0, then we will be getting a trivial solution. So in order to have a non-trivial solution, we will be getting the negative value of this constant, that will giving us a non-trivial solution. So I will stop here in this class. In the next class I will be taking up this problem, and from this point onwards we will be completing this problem entirely. Thank you very much.